Hey everybody, welcome to Muscular Development's preview of the Indy Pro happening this weekend in Indianapolis, Indiana. Joining me all the way from the United Kingdom, please welcome Giles, Tiger, Thomas.
Hey Ron, how you doing, mate?
Giles, I finally saw The Batman last week.
Didn't
like it, didn't care for
it.
it.
I can't take this. I can't accept this, Ron. I can't accept it, mate.
It was too much convoluted plot about the political corruption in Gotham. I'm like, I don't care who this guy is and that guy is. Give me some crazy, give me like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Give me those crazy villains, the comic book colors and all the crazy. That's what anyway.
Ron, us Batman fans don't talk about the George Clooney Batman with Mr. Freeze. I mean, that's the one that we just push aside, that we pretend it never ever happened. So where we just, oh my God, I'm distraught. I've got to be honest, I'm distraught.
I'm sorry. Well, maybe I'll give him another chance.
Hey, I've had a very exciting day today. In America, do you have speed awarenesses courses?
It's probably called something different. Is this because you got a speeding ticket?
Yeah, and basically to avoid losing your license, because I've got a lot of points, you can avoid the points, 3 points and a £100 fine, it's about like $150.
Yeah.
You can avoid it by doing either a course where you go to a classroom and sit there answering questions, or you can do it online. And we did a Zoom one today, and so that's 3 hours of my life I'm never going to get back. And they asked me, they said, "What's the most annoying thing? Can I ask everyone in the classroom, whatever they call it, the virtual classroom? Can I ask everyone what's the most annoying thing anyone can do to you on the motorway?" And I said, "Well, when somebody drives right up your ass on the motorway." And he says, "Oh no, but don't you mean driving very closely?" And I was like, "Oh well, yeah, okay." Everyone laughed, but yeah, I was getting a bit bored and getting a bit mischievous.
Yeah, so that's what we used to call. I don't know what it's called now, but when I had to do it many years ago, it was called traffic school.
Yeah,
it was all people that got speeding tickets or whatever, and it's just, yeah, we're trying to get it off our record, so our car insurance rates aren't through the roof. But let's get to this.
Also, one thing, Global Muscle is going to be split into two this week.
What the heck? That's crazy.
I know. It's just because I've got some editorial to write for the magazine, and I want to make sure I get it all done because I'm off to Ireland on Friday because I'm emceeing my first Pro League show.
That's what we were just talking before we started recording. They have a 212 Pro show over there, so there's going to be a 212 Pro show Saturday in Indianapolis, Indiana. Another one in where? Limerick Island or Dublin, or where is it?
Limerick Island. And then there's obviously the Pro Qualifier where there's 7 Pro cards being given out. It's run by Brian Bullman. It's a muscle contest, so it's the Gwindy brothers, Tarek and Tamer.
Okay.
So, but because there's only one Pro class, but I can now say I've emceed my first Pro League show. So that's a big deal for me. That's something I wanted to do a couple of years ago, and I was going to do in Cyprus for Mo Al-Masawi. Remember the guy? The guy? Yeah, the Olympia judge. And then obviously the pandemic had it cancelled, so I never got to MC a Pro League or an NPC show. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Congratulations. Yeah, I got confused because you've done so many webcast commentaries now by yourself and with Lauren. I think I was confusing that with MC gigs, but this is the actual first time you'll be MCing the show.
Can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
I do prefer the live stream because you get to sit down.
Oh, I would totally love that. Just sit there looking at a monitor and commenting, giving all my ridiculous opinions. Well, we have 3 pro divisions happening in Indy. Last year there was open men in 212, and this year they've added women's bodybuilding. But we start with the big show is always men's open. That's the main draw. And I'm going to start right off the top with the defending champion, Justin Rodriguez. This is where he had his first pro win of his career last year. As we know, the Arnold Classic a couple months back, he got 5th, and I was there in Boston when he got 2nd place to Bonac. He did the Olympia last year, was 8th place. So Justin Rodriguez, probably the heavy favorite to win this show. We got some other great guys, but if I'm a gambling man, I'd probably put some money on Justin. What about you?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm so excited about this. Is the 4th Indy Pro. I'm so excited about this lineup because this is the most stacked Indy Pro I've ever seen. And I wanted to just get the first place kind of put aside. And really, if we go statistically, this guy's a top 10 Olympia. Was he been 8th and 9th at the Olympia? Yeah. So he's been twice top 10 at the Olympia. He won this last year, so he's a defending champion. He's kind of on a roll. So we've seen how good he was at the Arnold and the Boston. So I mean, for me, this is the one I am pretty certain about, Justin Rodriguez, because he's so impressive. And I'd be very, very surprised if he doesn't come in probably at his all-time best and win this. So yeah, I'm gonna play it safe, and I'm gonna go with Justin Rodriguez to win this and defend his title.
And because of observations you've made with his social media posts leading up to shows, I stopped worrying about him because I looked at a post last week. I'm like, oh no, he's not going to be ready. There's no way, because it was a back shot, and I was like, glutes and everything doesn't look like they're going to be there. But as you pointed out, this happens with him every time. A week or two out from the show, you're like, oh no, he's screwed, and then you see him on stage and he's peeled.
I think he must be one of these ones that puts a lot of sodium in his diet, and stuff like that, and then maybe just pulls it at the last minute. Because I've seen that where guys are watery and they know they are, but they know that it's water and it's not body fat. And then when they pull the water and the salt, and they know what they're doing, and they carb up this, it just literally in a couple of days. I mean, I did it once when I was prepping, and I literally pulled the sodium out for a couple of days to see what would happen because I was lean, and everything just went tight. And I think that's why Justin does that, because he's not bothered about how he looks in these progress pictures, but he does it every single time. So like you said, now you don't worry anymore, because he does it every single time, but always brings the goods when it comes to when he walks on stage, which is when it counts.
So my pick for the dark horse, who could threaten him, could possibly beat him, maybe Charles' Definition Griffin from Minneapolis. Man, Charles is looking crazy right now. I just had him on Raw Online. He's posting up, because people used to knock his midsection. It was starting to get a little thick. He's posted pictures today from the side hitting vacuums. He looks like a classic physique guy, except that he's 255 pounds shredded to the bone with 22-inch arms. But if that was the main objection with him, and if he's fixed that, if he's stored in the midsection and his legs are a little bit better, I don't know if he could possibly beat him. He was second place here to Kuklo in 2018. So this is a show he really wants to win. He only competed once last year at the Chicago. Is that right? No, Tampa. Got 8th place, so he's fresh. I don't know. I think Charles has a legitimate shot at this. Why not?
I think we're going to see the best Charles Griffin we've seen since 2018. Remember when he did the Olympia, and I forget where he placed. Hang on, was it 11th or 13th?
Well,
I think he was 13th, and Valier was 14th.
Well, he won a show that year. He had just won the Muscle Mayhem Pro in 2018. So.
That's right. And I mean, I had him on Globe Muscle a few weeks ago, and I said, because he was telling me about like you said, about the vacuums, and I said, well, hang on a minute. I said, but it doesn't just look like you're sort of like hollower this way when you do the vacuum. I said, it actually looks like your waist is coming. And he explained that when he practiced the vacuums, he said it actually brings off the side as well. And I that was something I've never heard before. So I was really kind of excited to hear that, because like you said, in those front shots, he did look a little bit more, not as tapered as maybe he needed to be. Right. So with a guy with that, because he's got an amazing back, his back is really, it's very well developed right from top to bottom. Yeah. And, but like I said, the waist was the one thing that kind of spoilt those front shots a little bit. And like you said, his legs as well, but his legs look really, really good now, because his back, his shoulders, his arms, I mean, they're just phenomenal. Yeah. And I think we're going to see an all-time best Charles here. And the things with Charles, he's one of these really, really big guys, but he always nails his condition. And I think we're going to see the next level Charles Griffin at this contest. And I think that's a pretty safe bet, actually, that probably will be the top two. So that's who I'm rooting for. Unless
Blessing Awobidoo, the boogie, Awobidoo, let me say it right, Awobidoo. Blessing was, he's had a whole year, because this was his pro debut last year. He took 3rd place, which 3rd place your pro debut is nothing to be ashamed of, but he got blasted online because people saw he had lost some fullness for sure in his prep for that show. Was not the guy that we'd been expecting to see. Then a week later, he filled out quite a bit for New York, but lost a lot of the sharpness. So last spring was not the best showing for him, but he has had an entire year now to remedy all that. And working with George Farah, I'm curious to see what he's got for us. I want to see if his legs got better. I want to see if he's able to hold the size and fullness a lot better this time, keep that small waist and everything, because he's another guy with phenomenal potential. He's only done those 2 pro shows, and this is a guy that turned pro in 2017.
Yeah. I think because did he switch from Chad Nichols to George Farah?
Yes.
Right. So I thought that was strange. But thing is, I'll be honest, there's a question mark for me over Blessing, because he's very careful with what he posts. He'll sometimes post like a body part or something, and you know that it's probably of 100 videos or 100 pictures, and he just shows something that gets you intrigued, but doesn't actually really tell you that much. So I saw that picture of him doing the intercostal with the legs, and the legs looked amazing and everything looked great.
Yeah.
But we've been fooled before. And I'm not saying, I mean, because I actually thought his third place last year. I think for a pro debut, I think that's pretty bloody good.
Come on.
So I think there was a lot of pressure. I think he got a lot of undue kind of, I think because of all the hype and going after Nick Walker and everything.
Yes.
And obviously Nick Walker was such a high level. And the thing is, he kind of left himself open, but it did get people talking. So he kind of plays the game, but it will backfire if you don't go in and win and do a Nick Walker and win a show like the Indy, which he didn't do, but he did take top 3 in a good lineup in his first show. So I'll be honest, I don't know. I've got no idea whether he's going to be like a third place guy or whether he's going to be a 6th or a 7th, because this show is really, really stacked. It's going to be tougher than last year. So he's going to have to be better to even just try and maintain that top 3 status. Yeah. So, but I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see what he's brought and to see if he's made any significant improvements. Because last year he did kind of mess up at the New York Pro. He came in big and blurry, didn't he? And he didn't look right. And I actually preferred his Indy Pro look. But I did really like some of his shots, like his rear double bicep was absolutely tremendous. But like you said, he just needed a bit more fullness and thickness and development in the legs. He just needed more time. And like you said, it's been a full year. So I'm very, very interested to see if he's made significant improvements for this event.
Yeah, because he needs to be improved, because otherwise, you know, he's going to get that reputation as someone who's an Instagram or a YouTube bodybuilder, very, very popular, has some great body parts, but put him on stage next to the best of the best, and it doesn't really compare. So let's see what he has for us. But I would have talked about other people, but I'm going to have to jump forward. This guy just showed up as an entry yesterday, Max Charles. Haven't seen Max on stage in a bit. Was at the, oh, what am I saying? He was at the Boston Pro, but yeah, you know, Max, I'm not sure if we're going to see the best of him. I hope so. The best Max I thought we saw was, there was a few shows where he was working with, was he working with Milos for that Arnold that we were both at?
2020, yeah. He got 8th at the Arnold, yeah. He was 8th.
Yeah, so
great. Remember there were the veiny abs and the, oh, he was phenomenal.
So, you know, I'm not even sure who he's working with now, and I apologize to the coach and to Max for not knowing that off the top of my head, but I hope he can bring it together. He's still got potential. He should be winning shows like this. You know, he's got a few.
Dennis Wolf he's working with.
Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dennis Wolf. So yeah, with Max though, as you saw from the Arnold to the Boston Pro, he tends to get better. Like I was really, really pleased with what he brought to the Boston. I didn't think he could bring that in such a short space of time, but he did. And the thing was with Max, he tends to pick up momentum as he goes along. So, I mean, if he comes in better than he did at the Boston Pro, which he is capable of achieving, because like we saw that benchmark condition when he did the Arnold in 2020, when he took 8th, where he looked phenomenal. So I'll be very happy if he brings at least the Boston Pro look. But if he actually improves on that, then it's going to be a real win-win for him. So yeah, I'm excited to see whether he's improved since Boston. And yeah, he's a veteran and we all love Max, and he, you know, brings a lot of excitement every time he competes.
Speaking of veteran, the only man who has done this show every time it's been held is Dorian Haywood from Colorado. Yeah. Dr. Dorian Haywood, the chiropractor. So he was 4th here last year. He went on to do 4th at the New York Pro the next week. So he's been very consistent. He's been moving up in the placings, tons of size, really good shape. Condition is something that he was not really consistent with in the past. He seems to be getting a good handle on that. And I love the guy's enthusiasm. When he poses, he is all in. He's screaming. He's having the time of his life up there. So he's a fun guy to watch. I know you enjoy watching him as well.
I've literally just spoke to him today, actually.
Oh, there you go.
But I remember when we first saw him at the 2017 Tampa, and I felt like the stomach needed to come in, the back needed to come up, but he was kind of like a 3rd, 4th call-out guy, and I couldn't understand because I thought he was really good even then. Then he moved up to he was kind of up until last year, he was like a 2nd call-out guy. He was the guy that would occupy the 6th through 10th. You know, he'd always pretty much consistently place either 6th through 10th in any pro show. And then last year, he moved up into the 1st call out, you know, like I said, 4th place. Was it 4th or 5th? He was here last year. 4th.
4th. Yep.
Yeah. So he's 4th place last year, which was his highest pro show, you know, to date placing. And then he got a good placing at the New York Pro. So, and I saw a couple of videos, was it last week? It was from training stuff. And because I like his shoulders. I think his delts are amazing. Big, freaky shoulders. And I like those kinds of physiques. And, but for me, he's a guy that I'm hoping that momentum that he's built up over the last couple of years keeps going, because I would love to see him even more improve for this. But as long as he keeps that waistline in and the back is up, and he brings the condition like he did last year, then I think he's going to be in the fight for the top 5. Absolutely.
Another guy that, if you like big freaks, like last year, not Morgan, was it Morgan Ast was in the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, Morgan was in the show last year. So this year's giant European freak will be, and this is, you tipped me off to this guy, Petar Klancir, I don't know how you say it, from Croatia. This guy, you sent me the pictures. He is a freak. He's about 5'11", 270, shredded, big, full, round, thick, just a gnarly, rugged physique. I couldn't find any contest places from recently. He was second in the San Marino in 2016, third at Nordic Pro. Has he competed recently? Because you've been to a lot of those European shows.
Well, the last time I saw him compete was in 2017, and that was when he was 6th or 7th in the Arnold Europe. First was Rami, second was Bonac, third was Sean Roden, fourth was Rowley, fifth was Nathan. So he was literally being called out with these guys. So that's how good he was even then. I've got a feeling he did compete in 2018, but he's definitely not competed since. So I know he's prepping with Maro Sassi from Team Stones.
Okay.
The Yamamoto guy. He's coaches a lot of, like him and Patrick Tour, like two of the kind of the most prominent European coaches over here, Yeah. And I'm telling you, I was messaging you several times about this guy. I've been messaging Dave Bowers as well and said, check this guy out. This is the dark horse. This is the guy that if he's as good as I maintain he is and remember him to be, I think he could cause an upset here. I think he could be a real threat because this is his first show in so many years, and even like sort of 6 to 8 weeks out, I was still thinking, is he going to get back to as big as he was? And then just in the last couple of weeks, the magic's happening. And I'm telling you what, he's kind of like NASA. He reminds me of that NASA Sambati type fullness and freakiness, but he's also actually got a pretty good shape. If you actually look at his shape, so his back shots are. I would say if he's got any Achilles heel, I'd say it's his back shots. I think his lat thickness definitely isn't as kind of as good as his chest and his shoulders. But he brings nasty conditioning, and he's an effing freak, and I love this guy's physique. So he's kind of like he's the one that really no one's going to know about this guy. No one's expecting him, but he's the one that when he walks out, people are going to draw breath. That's what I predict.
Yeah. Well, this is a good lineup. It's stacked. There's a bunch more guys. I'm just going to run through some names. Slavoj Bednar from Czech Republic. I saw him last year. I think it was Tampa or Chicago. Looked very thick and very, very lean. Ross Flanagan from Texas, not too familiar. Ron Gordon from California, who you just had as a guest on Global for this week, right?
It's out tomorrow in part 1. Yeah, it was good. Great interview. And he's been working with Coach Abdullah, Brandon Curry's coach, and he's been trained by Psycho Fitness. So, that guy's got a hell of a team, and he's fresh. He grew into the show for this one. He's a freak. He reminds me of Paul Dillette, the shoulder width and the crazy cartoon. You see pictures and he looks photoshopped, but he's not, he's got some of the craziest shoulders I've ever seen. His rear delts are like bloody Coke cans. He's a freak. I'm really excited to see if he's made improvements, and he's really kind of going to bring it because he's big. He's like Charles Griffin. He's big, but he's also very, very conditioned, and he's got a very good shape, and he's tall, and he's got great legs as well.
I know I've seen him before. I want to say at one of the Tampa shows in the past year or two.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt Kuba from Illinois, very good. Walter Martin from Ohio. Eslam Mohammed from New York, we saw at the Boston Pro. Diogo Nunes from Portugal, who I believe is working with Milos. Ray Short from Texas, and Brent Swanson from Illinois making his pro debut. Just did a run line with him. Very cool guy. Let's move on. Yeah.
Online. I was going to get him on Global. I'll leave it a couple of weeks then.
Yeah, but get him. He's a very, very interesting guy. Type 1 diabetic. You guys can talk all about diabetes since he was 4. Yeah.
That'll be an exciting episode.
Talk all about diabetes. Oh boy, we actually did talk about that. It was pretty interesting.
Wow.
212 division. A lot of names I'm not familiar with, which was the case last year, and one of them ended up winning the show last year. A guy I never heard of, Tonio the Mutant Burton. So these guys I'm not talking about. I'll probably be talking about them after the show, trust me, or after judging of the show. But first and foremost, you had this gentleman on Global a week or two ago, Yuman Eaton. This is his pro debut, I believe, right? He's looking crazy in these progress pictures he's been posting. Looks like a total package. Jose Raymond is coaching him. Another one, size, shape, condition. And as of like 3 weeks ago, I was looking at the pictures and I wasn't like, again, I wasn't sure he was going to be dialed in for the show, but
Mhm.
as of a few days ago, like, oh, he's good. He's good. Don't worry about it.
I was really, really shocked because I'm gonna have to go back and watch the global because I don't know whether I've just assumed or he told me he was doing open, but
Hmm.
I think I just assumed he was open. But
Mm.
when I saw him on the list, I messaged you a few days ago and I said, hang on a minute, Human Eaton's 212. And you said, yeah, he's 212. And I was like, wow, because I like this guy's physique. He ruptured his liver,
Yeah.
leg pressing. And and he like he said, he would never, definitely never compete again. And he was on camera, like crying, you know, he was like it was a real emotional story for him to tell. It was a great episode. Go check it out.
Yeah.
And, but he's very complete. That's the thing. That's the thing I like. He's very complete. He's very conditioned. And he's very well developed. He's got a nice shape, so that usually goes down very, very well in the 212. So I mean, I can't believe he's made it down to 212 because I thought he looked like a 230, 240 guy, and I just assumed probably wrongly assumed he was an open.
Yeah.
But yeah, great job, Jose. And yeah, I'm very, very. He's the one I think I'm one of the ones I'm obviously most excited to see him compete. You know, because like I said, if he comes in and steals the show, it's going to be really exciting for the 212.
He won't have an easy time because Mexico's Noel Adame, who won the show in 2019. Last year, condition was a little bit off. He was fifth, and he took third in New York a week later. But Noel Adame, this guy's built like a tank. He's just, thick. He reminds me a lot of Angel Calderon. Very similar type of build. Sometimes I think I get them confused, which is it's not racist. I'm not against Latinos. I'm married to one. So, but yeah, very, very, very thick guy. If he nails his condition again, he could repeat a win here. I don't see why not.
I mean, this is a guy that won the New York Pro.
Yeah, did he win?
He won the New York Pro.
Oh, I have him as third. He took third there last year.
Yeah, he won the New York Pro, so he's really like, and he's one of the. I think he's got some of the most deadliest side shots. His side chest, his side triceps are just freaky. I remember watching the live stream last year, and whenever he hit those, because he's got an unusual shape, but it really comes together in the side shots. It's like Ramy, the side chest and side tricep, everything just flows perfectly. And he's really, really thick for a 212. I think he always brings very, very good condition. And I think he's probably one of the, I would say on paper, because we've not seen him on yet, I would say he's the odds-on favorite to win this, based upon what we've seen in previous indies and basically on his previous track record.
My dark horse, I love saying that over and over again, is Brian Balzano from Ohio, because he was fourth place last year. It was a crazy 212 lineup last year because 4 out of the top 5 were men making their pro debut. And I had never heard of a single one of them, I don't think. Nathan Epler was there. John Jewett had competed before, but Brian surprised me. His conditioning, the glutes were like somebody chipped away at them with a what do they call the thing, the marble, nobody knows. Come on, it's a hammer and a chisel, right? Yeah. Isn't that how they do this, the marble sculptures? But condition was great. It was thick, balanced. And that was his pro debut. He hasn't been seen since. He's had an entire year. And I'm very curious to see if he's improved, if he could push or even beat Yuman and Noel, or there's another like, it's a big list. We're only talking about 3 guys. Look at all that. It's about a dozen or 15 guys. So one of these names I'm not familiar with could easily be the shock of the show.
Well, like you said, last year there was 4 out of the 5 guys you'd never even heard of. They were broken their pro debut, and they took up 4 of the top 5 spaces. But Brian was on my radar as well, because I messaged him last week because I was trying to get him on Global before the show, and he said, "Look, can we just wait till after?" He said, "Because peak week I get very, very within myself," and I said, "Look, I'm glad you told me that," I said, "because I'd rather put it on, because I think I've got a feeling you're going to do very well." So I'm happy to sort of wait until afterwards. But yeah, he impressed me last year, actually. Like you said, the conditioning, the glutes, very, very complete, very well put together. And I'm interested to see, because I think it was 212 guys, you can see them. And the year before, they might be 7, 8, 9, 10 pounds under the 212 limit. And then the next year, they might be closer to the limit. So they can improve, they can get bigger. And some guys kind of have to get better at the same weight. Right. So it's interesting sometimes how they manage to improve their physiques with a weight restriction. So Brian, like I said, when we discussed before we came on our 3 main guys, it's exactly the same 3 guys that you've just mentioned there. Brian and the other 2, Umon and Noel Adam. Yeah.
So women's bodybuilding, there's only 5 competitors, but this is the first time they've had this division at this show. So we have Stephanie Flesher from Indiana right there. She was the, she won a show, didn't she? Trying to see. She took 3rd in Chicago last year, 5th in Tampa last year. Then we have Teresa Ivanchik. She was, she won the Chicago Pro in 2020. She was 7th place there last year, and she won the Norfolk Pro in 2019. Lisa Kudry from Canada, not totally familiar with. Donna Salib from Kentucky, who was 6th in Chicago last year, is also a professional wrestler. She posts some cool stuff on Instagram, getting thrown around the ring and jumping off ropes and all that cool stuff. Yeah. And Jada Beverly, who was 6th in Tampa last year. She was a last minute entry. If I had to give my favorite, the favorite physique out of those, Jada Beverly, from what I recall, has great X frame, wide shoulders, little waist, flaring quads. If she shows up in condition, she's going to be tough to beat. But, you know, everyone made the top 5, so nobody's out of the top 5 unless some more women jump in. But also want to give a shout out to Dave Bowers. You just had him on. You do a hype show for the IFBB. Is it called IFBB Hype Show?
It's Pro League Hype Show for NPC News Online for them. I do it for them, yeah. So it's just interviewing the show promoters like you do sometimes do with Online with Dave Bowers.
Yeah, we have we're competing with Dave Bowers interviews right now on YouTube. It's all good because it's a win because we love Dave. Dave's a great guy.
Cool guy.
He's always saying, what else? You guys need anything? The athletes are treated like gold. The fans, he's just goes above and beyond for everything. He's one of those.
That's how you grow an event, though. That's what you do. You put a real effort into, like, I mean, some of the athletes told me, like, he's messaged them and said he's excited. And even just getting a DM saying, like, I think Umon said, he said, you know, he said he's never met me. And he said he's excited to hear. He said that as a you know, pro debut, he says, that's really, like, it only helps my nerves and overcome things, you know, when they reach out and they say, you know, he probably does it for all the competitors. And I think that's a really nice thing for promoters to do, to put the competitors and make them feel welcome.
Not only the pro competitors, he's having a big amateur show with this too. And he told me in the interview, he called up every single person to make sure they knew everything they need. If they had any questions, concerns, like you called all those, because it's like 250 people plus all the pros. So yeah, this guy's been working around the clock. He's got the whole family working for him. His wife, his kids are always there, you know, at the check-ins and doing all that stuff. So it's a family atmosphere. I like it. It's
nice.
Very
wholesome. Because you went last year, didn't you? And you loved it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting much because, you know, I think Indy Pro, it's, you know, 2nd tier pro show, 3rd, whatever. But man, it was a good time. And he runs it. He's a former US Marine, so everything is run with precision. Everything started on time. Everybody was lined up with it, and everything was just spot on. So looking forward to another great event. And of course, hanging out with Hector, doing all that stuff. Yeah, we like to do. So that's all, man. So looking forward to covering it. Wish you were there, but you're going to be very busy emceeing the pro show over in Limerick, Ireland, as Blessing would say.
In my emerald green suit.
Do you really have a green suit? You actually have an emerald green suit?
Yeah.
I can't see that. I can't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it.
It's really nice. I wore it in Sweden. It's really nice. It's like a kind of vintage style Italian one. Is it? I got it from, yeah. Well, you saw the blue suit I wear on Global. It's the green version of that. So it's nice.
Okay. I just thought you were having a joke with me there, but okay, you're actually
no, real.
Okay, yeah. Well, you wear suits well, Giles. Let me say you have the perfect suit physique, tall, with the shoulders and all that good stuff. So little waist, so you'll rock it.
But I bought before Sweden, a few weeks before, because I'd only started back training really hard, and I bought this really nice shirt. And I tried putting on last week. I think it was for Global also, and I can't get my arms and shoulders into it. I mean, literally, I can't. I mean, I cannot wear that. I mean, I could maybe wear it for if it was like a 10-minute interview, but I had to take it off. It's a beautiful shirt as well. So I shouldn't have really bought it when I just started back training. I should have bought it like the last couple of weeks because it was a bit foolish of me, that.
You have to put it back in the closet for when you quit training again at some point. Hopefully, you never will, but you know. I used to have my fat clothes and my lean clothes on different sides of the closet. But,
I've got 2 separate closets. I've got in the back, and I've got these ones. I sometimes pull them out. And thinking, how the hell like off season when I was a bit, you know, bloaty, you know, and I just think, how the hell did I wear this? I mean, it's massive, you know. So, in fact, I was in my hometown of Monmouth, and I bumped into this girl that I've not seen for like 25 years, and I went, no, and she said, she goes like, oh, Giles, you look a bit different. She says you used to have she was very diplomatically telling me I had a big fat head back then. So you could see she was trying to say it really diplomatically. She goes, you look loads better now. And I said,
nice.
yeah, well, I'm still trained, but I'm a lot leaner. You know, I've got less body fat. She says, yeah, you got a little bit of a, you know, say it, just say it.
Well, that's a cool thing. At least you didn't say, man, you used to look so much better. It's actually a good thing you look better now. So I want to remind everyone, we're going to be covering the show. So we'll be doing that starting Friday night at the athlete check-in or the meet and greet and all that good stuff. We'll have interviews. Saturday, we're doing play-by-play on musculardevelopment.com. I upload all those pictures in almost real time. Tons of videos, interviews, good stuff. So check out musculardevelopment.com. And of course, this YouTube channel for Muscular Development. We'll be putting up tons of content from the Indy Pro. And that's it, man. Thanks, Giles. Appreciate you taking the time. Have a great show over in Ireland. And I'll be thinking of you in Indiana.
Can't believe you didn't like the new Batman film.
Sorry, I got to be honest, man.
It's going to be tough to get over that one, mate.
I'm sorry. What? Can we still be friends? Okay.
Go on, then.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for watching this preview, Muscular Development's preview of the Indy Pro. We'll see you next time.